Hello, and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and the last couple of days at work had been very interesting. Very busy days, but let's worry about that later and get into why we're all here, which is the final Arcana for the basic Arcana Spotlight Series. By the way, I did just do the RNG roll to see what soundtrack we're going with, and we're going with the one that's already playing, so nice and simple. Keeping it nice and easy. Alright. So let's go ahead and put on the old tutorial robe as we go to talk about me running into a dummy and not noticing until a little while later. No, we're going to be talking about Chaos Crusher. And when I was first conceiving this list, I had definitely thought, yeah, Chaos Reaper is cool, but it's a little bit unreliable, so this will definitely be the better choice. So it turns out I was probably wrong about that. I have no shame in eating my words because I had forgotten about a couple of things. And the thing that I had forgotten about most readily is that in the Phantom update they changed Chaos Reaper, like to the point where it's a nearly unrecognizable Arcana. Also, I apologize for all the shifting around in my chair. I'm just finding a nice comfy place to sit, or a nice comfy position to sit in. But regardless, let's go ahead and look at it anyway. So as you can see, it just looks like a really slow projectile that doesn't do a lot of damage, though admittedly does plenty of knockback. So the projectiles in and of themselves do 5 damage. It's not much, but if you get up close, then the part where the darkness is compressing into a small dark bullet also does damage. So when you're up close, instead of doing 5, 5, 5, it does 10, 10, 10, 5, 5, 5. So 45 damage in total. Now again, that's all well and good. It's not a huge amount of... Well, actually, it is a pretty decent amount of damage. I mean, it's not much in comparison to Chaos Reaper, but then again, nothing is much in comparison to that level there. At least as far as basics are concerned. But one of the things that sets Chaos Crusher apart is that, if you'll notice, it counts as both melee and projectile, so it gets bonuses from things that affect both things. So, as an example, if we go to put on the Gloves of Gambit, now it's doing 12 and 6. So, 18 plus 36 is 54. That's a nice chunk of damage. But it also, let's see. Now, just for argument's sake, let's take off anything that could count as a projectile otherwise. Like this. This counts as a projectile, so let's change it to Magma Rush. This counts as a projectile. Let's change that to... Here, Stalwart Defenders is nothing. And this counts as melee, but I want to take that off so I can show you something. Alright, so... As you can see, Gloves of Gambit's still doing its thing. But now, let's go ahead and switch it over to Dark Katana. And as you can see, it's still effective. Now, if we were to do this, there we go. Now it's starting to look a little bit more like Christmas. Now, there is no upgrade because it starts upgraded, so you don't need to worry about finding another upgrade in the middle of the run for Chaos Crusher. Again, I pretty much don't care about the candies because it's going to be the same things I've already told you, with the exception of you can actually kind of make Cabbie Citrus Sweets work because this actually has a longer ranged trail to it. So this is one where you can actually take Cabby's citrus sweets and actually have some sort of positive effect. That having been said, I still kind of prefer the bubbles or the dragons. Now let's real quick look at how Sidewinder's badge affects things. Oh, pardon me. Alright, so instead of 10 and 5, we get 13 and 7, because you have the secondary hit that does 3, and the secondary hit off of the projectile, which does an extra 2. So 39 and 21. Now, oh, hang on, I should go back to my tutorial robe. That's why I'm getting so many critical hits. And that means that in total you're getting 60, which actually is quite comparable to Chaos Reaper. Like, I believe Chaos Reaper with the, Sidewinder's badge was hitting about 70. So, again, you are getting good damage out of this. Sometimes it's... So this is one of those Arcana that I think is good, but it's one of those things that is good because of its ability to function well with many different tools. To be fair, Chaos Reaper also needs a good number of tools, but a little bit less so. Like, if you can get either Gloves of Patience or the Chrono Gloves, Chaos Reaper will get work done for you. This one is much the same way, except for it's a different set of tools that you're needing in order to make it work. In this case, you need either a projectile or a melee synergy, with the best ones, of course, being Gloves of Gambit, Chaos Visor, and Dark Katana. And most basics actually work pretty well with Sidewinder's badge, some more than others, of course. But yeah, Chaos Crusher is actually pretty simple when it gets right down to it. You just have to understand that... Pardon me. That opening, like, Dark Orb compressing into the Shadow Bullet is a hitbox in and of itself, which is why it's both melee and projectile. So, if we have all of that said and done, let's go ahead and build ourselves a run. Now, our baby can definitely get work done, but how do we choose to get it done is the point. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build a Dark Katana run with this at the forefront. So how do we make Dark Katana work with this? Well, the Chaos Crushers themselves can actually work out in my favor here. So let's see if there are any dash attacks that work particularly well with this. Spoiler alert, there aren't. And yeah, I know Ignition Rush says that it's melee, but here's the thing, it does 2 damage. Are we really worried about getting extra critical hits with that? Not really. So then the other one is Air Burst. So how does Air Burst work? Much better, actually. Now, this does suggest that we're going to be using that in a much more aggressive fashion than dash attacks that we normally use, but hey, at least it is something we can use. Next, we could use ourselves a good melee attack. So, something that I've been curious about. This one apparently can be used while moving. Let's see how that works. Huh, better than I thought. It's still kind of long for my taste, the animation I mean, but hey, it works a little better than I thought. Now, I'm not going to try to set up Ultra Combo with this, that just seems like a bad idea. Now, for critical hit builds, you prefer something that can score many hits. So whereas Tidal Blast can do the job, we could also use the Balestra or the Cascading Blitz. I think for purposes of my run, though, I'm going to probably do this unless... Let's see, Tearing Whirlwind, Airborne Leap. I do like Shearing Chain, but I think I had done that just recently. You know what? Let's have some fun. Let's do Tectonic Wheel. There we go. I haven't actually used this as a signature in a while. I remember not liking it as a signature, but we will see if that holds water. Besides, the real goal of this is to see how well Chaos Crusher works. Now, I had said at one point that I thought that Chaos Crusher was going to be better than Chaos Reaper. As I've already said, I am probably going to end up taking that back because, hey, I'm an intelligent person and I can. And I am indeed allowed to change my mind on things. But that having been said, that doesn't mean that I think... That doesn't mean that I think Chaos Crusher is bad. Honestly, what it is it's very versatile. So you can use it in a lot of different ways. You can use it to control space. You can use it for pure damage. And depending on what tools you have, you can tailor it to whatever you want it to do. Which, in a way, makes it not better, but definitely more versatile than Chaos Reaper. As you can make Chaos Crusher fit into just about any build. It's got a decent melee box. It can strike at range. Like, the hitbox isn't even that narrow. Like, you saw the enemies that it was hitting right there without it being, like, direct contact. Now, that obviously seems to be a little bit different when it comes to just, you know, things that you can hit. And there we go. Okay, we're definitely upgrading that. That's a projectile. Now, depending on the projectile, it's not necessarily a bad idea to have a projectile. Oh, pardon me. Apparently I'm a sleepy boy. Sorry, it's not necessarily a bad idea to have some sort of projectile on an otherwise melee-focused build. But it should be one of those things that doesn't, like, take over your build. It should be one of those things that... Okay, you guys can cut it out now. I kinda hate these things. Why are you still alive and doing damage to me? Okay, I am not a fan of Blazing Onslaught. That I will probably get rid of as soon as I can. Mostly for the point of it holds you still a little bit too long. But I'll play around with it and see if I'm perhaps wrong about it. Okay, we're gonna take that. We're gonna take that. And that actually increases your critical hit chance for your basic Arcana, so we'll grab that too. Alright, kind of got kicked around there a little bit. We're going to have to do better than that if we want to survive this run. Can't be taking 275 damage on every floor. Alright, so one thing that you're noticing and I'm noticing is that Chaos Crusher, despite being worth a good number of hits, also has a pretty narrow hitbox. I'm also a little out of practice with this game, so maybe the hitbox isn't narrow. Maybe it's my brain that's narrow. All right, we've got the token. We'll definitely exchange that for more powerful Hope Robe. Game really wants me to have Furious Tempest. Creates a larger burst and slows foes. I love it. Okay, what in the world is going on here? I know I'm a little out of practice. I can't be that out of practice. I see a lovely, kind fairy that I would like to take with me, but I need money first. I have the Hand of Midas, so money shouldn't be an issue. What might be an issue is my ability to survive. I'm also noticing that they made Blazing Onslaught a little bit faster. And so I was saying that the hitbox here is kind of narrow. What you're getting for that narrow hitbox, though, is the idea that you have a good amount of reach. Like, this isn't just a mid-range, this is definitely a long-range basic. Now, the long-range hits in and of themselves don't do a ton of damage. But it doesn't mean that they're not getting any work done. Because what you're getting with the longer-range hits is mostly control. I am really not playing well. Now, I just noticed Chaos Visor. If I had seen that earlier, I probably would have grabbed that first. But then it wouldn't be me playing the game. 220 damage. God, what is wrong with me? Coming behind Perfect Storm here. Oof! Very much out of practice. So, game, you're aware I'm doing a more melee-based run, right? Why are you giving me all projectiles? Well, regardless, having a couple of projectiles on a melee build isn't necessarily a bad thing, as it gives you a little bit more control over the battle. Alright, so we know Dr. Song is here. That's good, because I'm probably going to need the help. Also, the enhanced airburst is really nice. And that's a nice wide area that it affects. Alright, now what do we got here? Okay, I might want Terror Ring. Everything else is kind of eh. I forgot Gyroscopic Inkwell. No, I kind of like my signature, thank you. Oh, I hate these guys with this stupid helmet. Now, granted, that was more so my fault than anything else. So. Oh no, you don't. Here we go. Another thing to note when you're playing melee, you should really need to be a little bit more defensively focused. You don't necessarily have the range advantage, so you have to know what's going on around you. Sometimes easier said than done when there's a lot of guys scrambling around you to hit you with big sticks. Or, you know, if you're me and you've just been out of practice for a while. Alright, so there's a good chance I won't have enough money to pay Dr. Salt for her services. Oh, yes I will. So then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab... Yeah, we'll still grab Terror Ring. And we'll bring that to her. Ooh, renewing potion vial. Actually, I probably need that more than I think I do. At least this time it was only 117 damage, but I mean, I shouldn't be taking that much damage. Get out of you and your buzzsaw minions can get out of here. Earthen Aegis is a maybe. It seems very obvious that I could use a little bit of protection. So, thoughts on Chaos Crusher so far? Now, like I said, I am a person who's very capable of changing their mind when faced with new evidence, and one thing that I had completely forgotten when I had done my video on Chaos Reaper is that it had been changed quite a bit from its original incarnation from when it was first introduced, because it wasn't a part of the game when it first released. I mean, there's a lot of Arcana that have changed from their original incarnation. Because there were some Arcana that, let's face it, were just kind of garbage. And by some, I mean most. I mean, in the original, the game's original version 1.0 release, you really couldn't take Blazing Lariat or Tectonic Drill, despite the idea that they were obviously good. Because if you did, then you ran the risk of driving yourself off of a cliff every single time you used it. And it wasn't a chance to do that, it would just kind of happen. So yeah, if you used one of those close to a pit, you would just go right in the pit. It's very different from how it works nowadays, where you can just kind of throw it out wherever and be safe. Trust me, it didn't used to be safe. Oof, getting health back. I'm also starting to get my groove back. You can just call me Stella, because I'm getting my groove back. Why, yes, that was cheesy. I may want Sano's headband. That is a good one to have for a melee build. Because you've seen a couple times already that I've had my Arcana cancel just because someone walked up to me and decided they wanted to slap me. And that just leaves me going, but that's no fair, I wanted to slap you first. To which they rightly respond, yeah, that sounds like a personal problem. Nocturne. Might be able to get something good from him. Let's see what's cheap. Cool, that's cheap. Hi, would you like this whirling tornado? And what can I get that would be good for this run? Well, obviously, bubble slaps. Everything else is just kind of iffy, but bubble slaps is definitely worth it. Grab that, and I think we're good to go. How many times did I hit you with the title crash and you're still sitting there firing arrows at me? No, you don't have infinite health. You go away. That was a mistake. Should have held on to my signature. There we go. Ooh, flame fusion. Hold on, if I'm going to take a fire-based projectile, it's going to be flame fusion. Or I should say a shotgun-based projectile. There, now we've got control, we've got power, we've got two different forms of shielding. So one thing that Chaos Crusher is definitely gonna, pun only partially intended with Crush, is mid-range combo setups. Because one of the things you can definitely do with this bad boy is transition from using it to using something slightly longer range, Fairy. And then if that longer range thing happens to put you in range for something else, do that. Like, it's definitely a good one to consider when doing combos. And of course, its own natural range is good for things like just picking off enemies. Like, I will state here and now, it's probably not technically as good as Chaos Reaper. Chaos Reaper just got so many benefits at the Phantom update that it's hard to conceive of anything really being better than that, save for things that have more controlling, or not even more controlling, just similarly controlling effects. And that resonates with me because I've always found the Scythe to be one of the most interesting weapons in fantasy, despite how unwieldy it is. Like, how unwieldy it is in real life. Like, it's not one of those things you want to take into a martial arts contest because, yeah, it's top heavy, it's hard to swing, it's one of those things that just doesn't translate well, not like the more handheld combo. That is a sickle weapon that can use pretty effectively. But there are very few things in this world that have a cool factor like a scythe in a fantasy story. And you know what? There is the possibility that I'm wrong about that. Maybe a scythe actually is a pretty decent martial weapon. I wouldn't know. I'm not exactly what one would call a martial arts guru. Not exactly what one would call Jet Li over here. I was just thinking about whether or not I would take Binary Splashdown if I found it. Right now, I'm gonna say no. Not because I dislike it, but because I just don't think I need it. Though another thing that I've said about melee builds is that if you have a jump Arcana, you should use it. I don't know. Let me stick with what I've got now. I think I am A-okay with what I have now. me not go back on my own words here. I said I was okay with what I had. Let me stick with what I've got. Wow, I duffed that one. And as you can see, because it's still getting the effects of Dark Katana, you can still get plenty to happen from this. So Dark Katana plus... Yay! Yeah, Dark Katana plus Crimson Clover, plus the ability to take advantage of that even at range. Like, again, it doesn't seem like much, but it's definitely nice. And yes, I did charge right into an Ignition Rush, so what? You know, because I have the Curse Eater's Mask, I'll definitely take that. It's just a shame I only got a chance to pick up the... Just a shame I only got a chance to pick up two Cursed Relics. But, and the other thing with Chaos Crusher is that it's got pretty deep. This is the third time they try to get me to pick that up. Like, what the actual fuck? Oh, and since I posted that about Thunder Drop, I've now learned that Astral Dissonance and Seismic Entry can do the same thing as Thunder Drop. So, you know, we'll grab that. There we go. We definitely want that. Honestly, I like that. That looks good. So then one of the combos that you can take easy advantage of is dash into the enemy with that, and then Thunder Drop onto them afterwards. That seems like a pretty easy combo, and you can go right into anything else with it. I was gonna demonstrate it, and then I forgot what I was doing and just went into Pummel Face mode. But, you know, that's an excuse you can use anywhere in life. Oh, sorry, I was gonna stop at that stop sign, but then I just entered Pummel Face mode. Leave everyone around you going, what the fuck are they talking about? Pummel Face mode. Alright, looking good. 286 damage. I made some dumb moves there. You know, like dashing right into the Ignition Rush and then just standing on top of it for a little while. Boy, I wonder if that would do any damage. Yeah, baby. Okay, so while I'm doing this, I'm having to now reconcile with my previous opinion on Tectonic Drill as a signature. It does more damage than I thought it did, not gonna lie. But I also have the perfect setup for it. Melt. Alright, now let's look to see if there's anything else that catches my fancy. Mostly just because I want the Vault of Midas at the end. It's not actually useful right now, but, you know, what the hell. We'll pretend it is. Yeah, Tectonic Drill with a Dark Katana build is just amazing. I'm also coming around to the idea of Air Burst. Hey, you want to come up here? Thank you. Oops. I didn't mean to hold the button there. I'm still getting used to the idea of the stationary thunder drop, I'm sorry. I've let you all down. And melt. So, there you go. I'm very much a fan of the versatility of Chaos Crusher, but, and this, for anyone who is wondering, you know, Dark Sage, you always save your personal favorite or what you think is the best for the last of that element. Why do you think Chaos Crusher is the best one? I'm now openly admitting it probably isn't. I like it, but that's also all there is to it. I just like it. I like that you can use it to do things that both melee and projectile builds can do all in one. I like its versatility. I like the idea that it's a very unique tool set. That having been said, I do think that on the whole, Chaos Reaper is definitely the better Arcana. The upgrades that it got from during the Phantom update were just ridiculous and almost set it in a league of its own. If it wasn't for things like Fiery Yo-Yo and Bolt Rail having similar utility, I would say Chaos Reaper is the absolute best basic in the game. It might even be. I don't know, I'll think about all of that, and we'll get that together when I do the Basic Arcana tier list video. How about that? In the meantime, thank you guys very much for continuing to watch and support. If you like what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I always put out more stuff when I can. I know I said earlier work was really busy. I'm just going to say I did start a new job, and it's a very different beast from what I was doing before, but also far more fulfilling, so. The overall vibe is positive. I'm just saying it's also harder work. Make of that what you will. So that's it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. I think I've rambled on enough. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing you.